welcome to the Deep Dive. Thinking about traveling, maybe studying, or working abroad?
Yeah, it almost always brings up visas, doesn't it?
It does, and today we're diving into understanding the English used in that whole process. We've got a really useful example conversation lined up.
And some key vocabulary, too. The idea is really just to make the language and maybe the steps involved feel a bit clearer for you.
Exactly, because applying for a visa, well, it can feel pretty overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And, often a big hurdle is just the language itself, understanding what's being asked, what you need to say.
Right, so by looking closely at a typical kind of interaction, and highlighting those essential terms, we really hope to give you a bit more confidence.
Yeah, confidence to understand and, get through the process smoothly.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our source material gives us this little snapshot, right? A conversation.
Mm-hmm. Between someone applying for a visa, a traveler, and a visa officer at an embassy.
It's a great illustration, really, of what you might actually encounter.
It really is. I mean, this kind of dialogue, it just gives you a practical framework. You can see the questions you'll likely hear.
And the kind of information you'll probably need to give back.
Precisely.
So it kicks off with the visa officer asking a pretty fundamental question.
Yeah. What kind of visa are you applying for?
Now, it sounds simple, but it immediately tells you, look, there isn't just one visa.
Right. Our source points out there are different types. You've got tourist visas,
Usually for shorter trips like holidays,
then student visas if you're going to study somewhere.
and work visas, obviously for employment.
The key thing, the really crucial thing here, is being specific. You've got to know which category fits why you're traveling.
And in this example dialogue, the traveler gives a really clear answer.
They do. I'm applying for a tourist visa to visit the U.S. for 2 weeks.
See how specific? Not just tourist visa. They mention the destination, the U.S., and the planned duration. 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that level of detail, it's really important. It gives the officer the basics straight away. And sometimes, how long you plan to stay can even affect the exact type of tourist visa you need in some places.
Interesting. Okay, next up, the officer asks about the paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Do you have your completed application form and supporting documents?
Right, let's break these down a bit. The application form.
That's the main document, the one you fill out with all your details, personal info, trip details, background stuff. It's like the foundation of your whole request.
Makes sense. Our source even gives that example sentence, I need to complete the visa application form. Pretty clear.
Yep. And then you've got the supporting documents.
Which the traveler in the example confirms they have.
They do. They say yes, and then list examples. I have my passport, bank statement, travel itinerary, and hotel reservation.
So these supporting documents, they're the backup, the evidence.
Exactly. They provide proof and more detail to support what you've put on the application form.
So passport is your ID, bank statement shows you've got the funds.
Right. Travel itinerary shows your plans. Hotel reservation shows where you're staying. It all builds a picture for the officer.
It really paints that picture, yeah.
Each document serves a purpose, helps validate your reasons, your ability to follow the rules. Sometimes people don't provide enough financial proof.
Oh, like just one statement isn't enough.
Sometimes, yeah. Depending on the embassy, they might want to see a history or other proof of income. It varies.
Good point. Okay, the conversation moves on. The officer asks, and what's the purpose of your trip?
Now, this feels a bit like the first question about the visa type, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But maybe digging deeper.
I think so. It lets you explain more. The visa type is the broad category: tourism, study, work. The purpose is about the specifics of what you'll do.
Ah, okay. Like the why behind the category.
Exactly. What nuances are they looking for, perhaps?
And the traveler here answers, I'm planning to visit my cousin and do some sightseeing.
Which sounds perfect for a tourist visa, right? Clear, simple.
Very clear, concise, and it matches the tourist visa category perfectly.
Right. If it was a student visa, you'd say, I'm going to enroll in this specific course, or for work, I'm taking up this job role.
Got it. And then the officer gives a positive response, tells them the next step. It seems like a pretty smooth interaction in this example.
It does. It really shows how being prepared, being clear, really helps things along.
Okay, so let's really zoom in on some of that key vocabulary and those useful phrases that popped up, plus some extras our source gives us.
Good idea. Let's start right at the beginning. Visa. We know what it is generally, but the source defines it as
official permission to enter, stay in, or leave a country for a specific purpose. That official permission part is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's that formal authorization you need from the country you want to visit, assuming your nationality requires it. Can't just hop on a plane necessarily.
We also talked about the application form, the document you fill out.
Yep. And those supporting documents, the extra papers that back it all up, are there any, surprising ones people forget?
That's a good question. What do you think?
Well, sometimes proof of onward travel, showing you plan to leave again.
Ah, like a return ticket.
Or a ticket to another country, yeah. Depending on the situation, maybe letters of invitation, marriage certificates. It really depends on the visa type and your own circumstances.
Right. And another key term, appointment.
The scheduled meeting you have, the source gives the example, I have a visa appointment next Tuesday. Simple enough.
Okay, now those helpful expressions from the actual dialogue, the officer's first question. What kind of visa are you applying for? Super fundamental.
Totally. And you just answer clearly. I'm applying for a student visa, a work visa, a tourist visa, whatever fits.
And when you're handing over your paperwork, using that phrase, supporting documents, shows you know what's needed.
Yeah, here are my supporting documents for the visa. Sounds prepared.
Then the question about the purpose of your trip.
Right. We saw the cousin sightseeing answer, but the source adds others like, I'm going for a business meeting.
Or, I'm in to study English. Again, keep it clear, keep it concise.
And make sure it matches the visa type you asked for. That's crucial.
Definitely. Okay, our source also lists some extra phrases that could be really useful.
Yeah, things you might need to ask. First one, how long can I stay with this visa?
Oh, that's practical. You absolutely need to know your limits.
For sure. You don't want to overstay accidentally. Knowing the permitted duration is essential.
Avoids a lot of potential problems down the line.
Another big one, is there a visa fee?
Yes. Nobody likes unexpected costs.
Good task up front.
And fees can vary quite a bit depending on the visa, the country. So yeah, always wise to clarify.
And for managing expectations. When will I receive a decision?
The waiting game. It can be tough. Asking about the timeline is fair.
Though they might not always give an exact date, right?
Probably not always exact, no.
Yeah.
But asking politely shows you're, following up reasonably.
And finally, if you need to actually schedule that meeting, I'd like to book an appointment. Simple, direct. Whether you're calling or maybe emailing the embassy or visa center, often that appointment is a required step.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what are the main things you, listening, should really take away from this?
Well, first, definitely understand the specific visa type you need. Don't guess. Do the research.
Absolutely. Second, that application form. Make sure it's filled out perfectly, accurately, completely. Mistakes cause delays. Big delays sometimes.
For sure. And third, those supporting documents, they're not optional extras. They're vital evidence. Get everything required together.
Fourth point, be ready to clearly, simply explain the purpose of your trip and make sure it aligns with your visa type.
And maybe a final point. Just remember that being clear, polite, and generally well-prepared when you interact with visa officers. It just helps everything go more smoothly.
It really does.
So, wrapping up this deep dive then, remember that key vocab. Visa, application form, supporting documents, appointment, those are your building blocks.
And knowing how to handle questions like, what kind of visa? Or talk about your supporting documents, explain the purpose of your trip.
Yeah, and asking things like, how long can I stay? Is there a fee? When will I get a decision? Or how to book an appointment. Knowing these phrases in English will genuinely help you navigate the whole thing.
You really hope this has, demystified some of the language and the steps a bit.
And maybe made you feel a little more confident about any future travel plans or visa applications you might have coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just a final thought to leave you with. Think beyond just the visa interview itself. What other English skills might be super useful when you're planning international travel?
Oh, good one. Like conversations at the airport, check-in, security.
Or immigration when you actually arrive. Understanding those questions.
Even just booking flights or hotels online, planning your itinerary. It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is. It all kind of works together.
Well, until our next deep dive, we wish you safe travels and happy learning.